Sound check. Test. Sound. Sound. Sound check.
Sound check, sound check.
Ang daming microphone ng GMA dito pero walang taga-GMA. Same GMA.
Sound check. Hello. 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 Okay naman yung sound? Okay. Good morning everyone. Ibibigay ko ngayon ang detalye ng insidente nangyari kahapon. No? First of all, I would like to emphasize that the deployment of the BFAR vessels in Pag-asa is actually related to the kadiwa para sa bagong bayaning mangingisdang Pilipino. The reason why they are there is that they are waiting for as we monitor the presence of the Filipino fishermen, ito yung naging area where they temporarily stay. And then eventually, kapag may mangingisda na, that's the time that they're going to depart and proceed to that maritime feature. Again, the mission objectives of the deployment is to support the kadiwa para sa bagong bayaning mangingisda and to ensure the safety and security of the Filipino fishermen, knowing for a fact that the Filipino fishermen are always subject to harassment and the bullying activities of the Chinese Coast Guard. Yesterday, there were actually 6 BFAR vessels in Pag-asa Island. It just so happened that when the incidents happened, there were the 3 BFAR vessels already departed as early as 5 a.m. yesterday. That's why when the incidents, the vessels that were only subjected to harassment were those 3 BFAR vessels na na-mention ko sa press release namin yesterday. That's Datu Pagbuaya, Datu Bangkao, and Datu Sanday. On the part of the Chinese Coast Guard, we were able to monitor 5 China Coast Guard vessels. China Coast Guard 5102, 21559, 5009, and China Coast Guard 3305 and 23519. All of these Chinese Coast Guard vessels actually entered the territorial sea of Pag-asa Island. And as a matter of fact, we were also able to monitor more than 15 Chinese maritime militia vessels during the said incident. We also monitored the presence of the PLA Navy warship with a bow number 533 at a distance of around 6 nautical miles off the coast of Pag-asa Island. because the distance of 3 nautical miles, ang layo niya from the BFAR vessel. And then later, I'll discuss around what time that the PLA helicopter with tail number 51 was deployed also by the PLA Navy warship. So, around 7:25 in the morning, gaya na sinabi ko kanina, no? Even before all these incidents happened, the first 3 BFAR vessels, which is Datu Dumangsil, Datu Bangkaya, and Datu Daya, departed Pag-asa Island because they were supposed to proceed to Mabini Reef yesterday afternoon because we were able to monitor number of Filipino fishermen. At around that time, when the Datu Daya, one of those BFAR vessels na umalis ng maaga, they were already subjected to dangerous maneuver of China Coast Guard 23519 and the PLA Navy 5333 when they were about to leave Pag-asa Island. As a matter of fact, China Coast Guard 23519 activated already its water cannon as early as 7:30 in the morning, threatening BRP Datu Daya that they're going to use their own water cannon against the BFAR vessel. But hindi naman nila tinamaan, ganyan lang yung ginawa nila until pakalabas yung 3 BFAR vessel. And then the second significant incident that happened is around 8:40 in the morning when BRP Datu Pagbawaya was directly hit by the water cannon of China Coast Guard 21559. But before it was hit by China Coast Guard 21559, we can also see from this video that China Coast Guard 5201 has also activated its water cannon. This was the video that we released yesterday when China Coast Guard 21559 directly hit the BRP Datu Pagbuwaya by its water cannon around 8:50 in the morning. The other China Coast Guard, 5102, tinulungan niya pa si 21559, staying on the other side as they shadow and use their water cannon against Datu Pagbuwaya. Around 8:57 until 9 o'clock, we were able to monitor Chinese maritime militia 00312 conducting dangerous maneuver and even activated its own water cannon as well. Wala pa pala to. But later, there's Chinese maritime militia who used its water cannon. This was BRP Datu Bangkao. This is the second BFAR vessel that was also water cannon by China Coast Guard 21559. So, yesterday, we only thought that it was only Datu Pagbuwaya that was directly hit by water cannon of China Coast Guard 2159. But we just received this report also from the commanding officer of BRP Datu Bangkao that they also were hit by 21559, but it is not as significant or impactful compared to BRP Datu Pagbuwaya. And then at 9:18 in the morning, BRP Datu Pagbuaya was subjected to once again to water cannoning and directly ramming the aft of BRP Datu Pagbuaya. So at first, China Coast Guard 21559 was just doing the shadowing and water cannoning against BRP Datu Pagbuaya. From this video, makikita nyo na winater cannon lang siya. And then eventually it will once again make a turn. That will result to intentional ramming. There is also the drone video. You can see from this video that it was really intentional on the part of the Chinese Coast Guard 21559 to directly ram the BFAR vessel Datu Pagbuaya. But because of the seamanship skill of the commanding officer of Datu Pagbuaya, we were able to let go of that ramming that is being conducted by China Coast Guard 21559. These are the damages that BRP Datu Pagbuaya had after the ramming incident. Around 9:26 in the morning, we also monitor the PLA Navy 533 launching its PLA helicopter with tail number 51. And it just flew over the BFAR vessels. Although it maintained a safe altitude, hindi naman siya mababa ang lipad. But we just documented that the PLA Navy vessel and its helicopter flew over the territorial airspace of Pag-asa Island. We monitored around 9:26 in the morning. This Chinese maritime militia also activating its water cannon against BRP Datu Bangkao. And here is China Coast Guard 21559 again, conducting dangerous maneuver and using its water cannon against BRP Datu Sanday. So, all in all, there were 3 BFAR vessels that were subjected to water cannon by China Coast Guard 21559. But it was only Datu Pagbuaya which was directly hit and had significant impact caused by the water cannon and ramming. That ends the briefing regarding the incident that happened yesterday. I'm now opening the floor for questions and clarifications. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Jonah from Pasay. Can you tell us what the situation is at the moment in Pag-asa Island? Where is Datu Pagbuaya now? And just exactly how far away from Pag-asa Island did the incident happen? Thank you.
All of those incidents happened between 1.6 to 1.8 nautical miles off the coast of Pag-asa Island. That means all of these incidents happened within the territorial sea of Pag-asa. With regard to the question, where are the vessels, BFAR vessels now, particularly Datu Pagbuaya, Bangkao, and Sanday? Around 1 p.m. yesterday, it departed Pag-asa, and as we speak right now, they are in Escoda Shoal, supporting a large number of Filipino fishermen who are there and engaged in fishing. As a matter of fact, right now they are distributing fuel subsidy and other supplies to sustain the fishing expedition of our fishermen and also to ensure their safety and security. Because the Philippine Coast Guard vessels are also there. BRP Melchora Aquino supporting the Filipino fishermen.
Sir, good morning. Yung kanina, nag-water cannon ng Chinese militia, maritime militia.
Yes.
That's for the first time sa nangyari.
I don't think that this is the first time. As far as I can recall, we were able to monitor Chinese maritime militia having water cannon as early as 2023. But basically, they're just activating it and not directly hitting our vessels.
So the fact that they use the Chinese water cannons, I guess that's solidify the fact that they're taking orders with the Chinese government?
Well, I mentioned this already. What we can conclude between the Chinese maritime militia and the Chinese Coast Guard is that they are taking orders from the Chinese Coast Guard when it comes to dangerous maneuver, blocking, and even threatening ordinary Filipino fishermen. Mas maayos yata yung tag team ng Chinese maritime militia at ng Chinese Coast Guard compared with the PLA Navy and China Coast Guard.
Thanks, sir. Other questions po?
So, Ma'am Joanne.
Sir, Pag-asa Island has fish on civilian community. Ano po yung ginagawa natin to further enhance the security of the people in the island?
Well, with regard to the security, it's not just the Philippine Coast Guard who has such responsibility. We know for a fact that the Armed Forces of the Philippines have also presence in Pag-asa Island. So there are also the Philippine National Police Maritime Group. We also have BFAR and other government agencies. They have their own local government unit to intensify their safety and security. I would like to believe that the entire national government are doing everything to make sure that the locals there will be safe and they're not going to be subjected from any illegal actions from the People's Republic of China.
Sir, so no more BFAR vessels or PCG vessels around Pag-asa Island
Yes.
right now. So how do you want to respond to China's claim that the Chinese Coast Guard expelled Philippine vessels?
I don't think that they expelled the Philippine vessels. The mere fact that we never deported Pag-asa right after the incidents. And how can they claim that they expelled? As I said, the presence of the Coast Guard, the Armed Forces of the Philippines remain to be in Pag-asa.
So they left hours after the incident.
Yes, around 1 p.m.
And is this the closest an incident like this has ever happened to an island or maritime feature in the Philippines? And if so, does that make it more concerning?
Well, all of those actions of the Chinese government, whether it's near a particular maritime feature that we occupy, it has always been very concerning because we are dealing with the lives of the crew of the BFAR or even the Philippine Coast Guard personnel. We always take the illegal and blatant violation of the People's Republic of China seriously and always concerning. Regarding your initial question, how is it the first time that the Chinese Coast Guard became very aggressive in Pag-asa Island? I think so, because before, the aggression of the Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese Maritime Militia is very near the Pag-asa case. But this time around, this is the closest that the Chinese Coast Guard harassed and bullied BFAR vessel. It only has a distance of 1.6 to 1.8 nautical miles.
Very close to a civilian population.
Yes, very close to Pag-asa Island.
So that's why I'm asking what if that's a bigger concern because around 200 people live.
500.
500 people live on Pag-asa.
Yes. As I said, either way, whether they do it in Pag-asa case or they do it at a distance of 1.6. We have always taken their actions very seriously.
And where were these Chinese ships coming from? From Subi or were they from Pag-asa case?
Well, for the Chinese maritime militia, some of them came from different places. If we're going to track it, some of them came from Mischief Reef, some of them came from Subi Reef. For the Chinese Coast Guard, the reason why it was easy for them to deploy such large number of 5 China Coast Guard vessels, practically it came from Subi Reef.
So who is the better idea of Chinese behavior near Pag-asa? Is this not the norm? Yung with that proximity to the island, or like, are you typical na deployment ng CCGA?
Well, for the Chinese Coast Guard, this is the first time that we saw them coming close at a distance of 1.6. As what I told Barnaby a while ago, they were sometimes focusing only on Pag-asa case 1, 2, 3, and 4. And some of the media also went to Pag-asa case. You saw the China Coast Guard. But this time around, this is the first time that they were this close to Pag-asa Island and doing this kind of bullying activities against BFAR vessel.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
So, sir, since this time, yung Chinese Coast Guard is going near na sa Pag-asa, so what are the measures that the government will take to ensure that there will be no invasion in that area?
Well, for the Philippine Coast Guard, we just submitted the report to the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea. It is not our sole obligation to plan out the security plan of the island. But I would like to believe that the NTF-WPS and the National Maritime Council will look at this incident and they're going to make necessary recommendation to the President.
Sir, I noticed that this time around, parang buong KIG na yung parang continuous yung mission, hindi katulad dati na like sa Pag-asa lang or sa Commodore show lang. So is this a new strategy na all over the KIG na yung ginagawa natin siya?
I think we have been doing this even before. Just so happened that I think, ano mas sabi mo? Parang,
Parang kasi dati parang easy na like you'll go first like sa Bago de Masinloc, then another day on this area. But right now parang yung mga mission is like continuous na siya na hindi siya like public support and then we go back to it. Parang ini-emphasize na natin that although meron presidential decree before na tungkol sa KIG, but this time around parang mas aggressive yung promotion natin na entire KIG.
well, first of all, I don't think aggressive is the right term to describe our patrols. I think we are just more active in patrolling our own exclusive economic zone. It is not aggressive. Basically, it's our mandate to patrol all these areas. And I don't think that this is something new. We have been doing this together with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources and even the Philippine Navy. The only difference why we are putting it on spotlight is because there are incidents that are happening. But since day one of this administration, we have been very active in deploying our BFAR and Coast Guard assets and even the Armed Forces of the Philippines in different parts of the Kalayaan Island.
Other questions from the audience?
Si John Eric.
Yes.
Related pa din. Last week, sir, the U.S. Subcommittee was urged to visit Pag-asa Island from the reaction of that.
Well, that's nice thing to know. I think it's for the Department of Foreign Affairs to respond to that question, Eric.
Other questions from the audience?
Bea? Ano, no? Yes, because we have territorial sea dito sa areas na to. And as I said, it was only 1.6 nautical miles.
Yung mga colonies vessel, either fishermen from Pag-asa Island or from different
Well, there are different Filipino fishermen there, no? May mga malalaking Filipino fishermen na pupunta doon. Meron din tayong mga locals from Pag-asa. And that has been the objective of BFAR vessel kung ba tayo pupunta rito. To protect them from bullying and also to ensure their safety and security.
Other questions or comments, sir?
Billionaire News Channel. Okay ka na? Oh, GMA.
Sir, kaya wala yung DLP?
Akala ko may technical committee dito.
Yung PCG vessel, kaya wala yung kay Gano sa Buwaya, ako yung water cannon. And there's, anong may ginawa ba yung PCG vessel in response?
Well, yesterday we don't have Coast Guard vessel in Pag-asa. We have BRP Melchora Aquino patrolling the vicinity of Skoda Shoal yesterday. And then we also have two other 44-meter vessels in other areas, one in Recto Bank and the other one is in Union Bank. So when that incident happened, the Coast Guard is not there. But I would like to reiterate that these BFAR vessels, there are Coast Guard crew on board. That's why I think there's somebody who asked me before, why do we mention PCG and BFAR, where in fact it was only BFAR vessel. It's because more than half of the crew are also Coast Guard personnel on board BFAR vessel.
Anong damages, sir? Ano yung damages ng Buwaya?
Well, according to the initial report, it is not significant to say na it has affected the seaworthiness of BRP Datu Pagbuaya. Some stanchions lang and yung pagkayupi lang dun sa deck niya. But not that significant na masasabi mong makaka-apekto sa kanyang paglalayag. Yes. Wala naman tayong nabalitang na injured or nasaktan dahil sa water cannoning nila and even the collision.
Other questions or comments, sir? Sir,
Okay na tayo? Yes. Okay. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
maraming salamat po, and that concludes our Ryan interview today with Commodore Tarriela, PCG, sir.
The videos and photos will be provided by Attorney Don later. Ha?